Guys, today we're gonna be watching his story. This channel has 5 million. Bro, when did he start? Wait. Let me see. When did he start? Wait. Oh, 2020. 8 billion views. Do you see this? 8 billion views right here. Bro, this is crazy, bro. Okay, I think we gotta watch his shorts. Because they say his shorts are the best, so let's see if it's true. Okay.
I walked into the bathroom at my best friend Lewis's house, ready to prove once and
What? Wait.
for all that Bloody Mary was fake. Lewis leaned against the doorframe. You really think you can do this? I crossed my arms. It's not real, Lewis. It's just a stupid mirror. He smirked, then reached past me, flipped off the light switch, and pulled the door shut behind me. Okay then, get in front of the mirror and say it 3 times. There was a tiny bit of light from the hallway bleeding under the door, and I could barely
Bleeding? What?
see myself as I stared into the
Is this family friendly, bro?
mirror. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Nothing happened at first, but then I heard it. It sounded like someone was breathing from somewhere behind me in the dark. Lewis, quit messing around. Lewis's voice came muffled through the door. Dude, I'm not doing anything. I think I hear something too. A chill ran down my spine, and I spun around because I was sure someone was standing right behind me, but nobody was. I turned back to the mirror,
Okay, I don't
and the weird
understand
kid bent under his desk during lunch
Weird kid. Hey, yo.
and started eating something that didn't look like food.
Is he eating what I think he's eating?
But as I was about to look and see what it was, my friend laughed. Let's give him some real food. He threw a peeled orange at him, but then another kid walked by the
Is
weird
that poop?
kid at that moment. The orange splattered across his forehead, and me and my
Okay, now they're just going to jail. Like, what?
friends laughed as orange juice flowed down his shirt. His face went red. Oh, you think it's funny? He picked a handful of spaghetti bolognese off his tray and threw it. It covered my chest and face.
Bro, what?
And I wiped my eyes and screamed, "Food fight." I immediately hit a kid on a nearby table with my pumpkin pie, then got hit with a glass of milk right back. The lunch lady ran over and got a
Bro, they're turning him into a smoothie, bro.
can of tuna to the face, and I was
A food smoothie.
still laughing with milk dripping down my forehead when suddenly a large rock hit my head. I instantly gripped my head in pain, but when I looked up, the weird kid from earlier was smiling with a handful of rocks at his table. Food
Rocks? How? What? I thought that was poop. Like, are his teeth even strong enough to
fight. He threw another rock. I shouted, "It's a food fight, dude. You throw food, not rocks." He looked at me with a serious face. Wait, you guys don't eat rocks? Then he looked down at his stone. Is this why I have no teeth? He raised his head with his lips
He has no. Then how does he eat the rock? Does he just swallow them? Like,
trembling and got splattered
oh,
with
that's
a
why
tray
he's
of
so
lasagna.
skinny. He
The
doesn't
weird
eat.
kid bent under his
Oh.
I slapped $5 on my desk and bet the class we could break our new substitute before lunch. We'd already gotten
Break or kill him?
3 subs to quit this semester, and I had $5 and my name on this bet riding on number 4. I'd seen her around the building for 2 weeks, but this was the first time she'd stood in front of our class. She wrote her name on the board, Mrs. Marsh, and started teaching like she had no idea what she'd walked into. One kid, Devin, threw a paper airplane at her and told her she had 10
Yeah, they're going to detention for life.
minutes to walk out before we made her wish she
Seriously,
had.
bro.
She didn't flinch and kept teaching, and I could feel my $5 already escaping. A few minutes later, someone pulled the fire alarm, and she walked us outside calm as anything, counted heads twice, and walked us back in like nothing had happened. I uncrossed my arms and stopped smiling, because she hadn't even broken a sweat. When we got back into the classroom, Devin leaned over to Reagan, the girl next to him, and told her to call the front office and say Mrs. Marsh grabbed her arm, and Reagan actually did it, phone pressed to her ear, voice shaking just enough to sound real. My pulse spiked, because that wasn't a joke anymore. That could get her fired or one of us expelled, and I realized none of us had a plan for what happened if this actually worked. The whole class jumped at the sound of a ruler smacking the whiteboard. "Hang up the phone," Mrs. Marsh said. I've seen enough. My chest finally unclenched,
I know.
because whatever came
They're
next,
cooked.
at least it was over. She pulled a folder out of her bag, our names already written inside it, dates already logged. "I'm not your sub, I'm the new principal. I've been documenting this class for 2 weeks, including that call." I sat there frozen, realizing my name was probably already in that folder before I ever put $5 down. She turned to Reagan. Hang that phone up for good, or I add this to your file too. Reagan dropped it like it burned her. The color drained from Devin's face. Because we hadn't been betting on a sub, we'd been betting on the principal, and she had it all on paper. My $5 circled right at the top.
2 iPhones given out. What? What? Okay, what is this?
I slapped
He's
$5
giving away iPhones?
on my desk
Bro, what
and
is
bet the
this,
class
Mr.
we
Beast?
could break our new substitute before my arm jerked and a bark shot out of my mouth before I could stop it. The substitute
Bark? Hey! Bark! Can I go to the toilet? Like, bro.
head snapped toward me. What was that? Sorry, I have Tourette's syndrome, so sometimes I can't control what I say or do. The jerks and sounds are called
Bark!
tics, and they just happen on their own. She crossed her arms. Yeah, right. If you want attention that bad, come to the front, and I'll make sure you get it.
By the way, the reason why my hair looks like this is because I got a haircut and I also took a shower.
Throat tightened, but I had learned a long time ago that arguing with adults about this never worked, so I walked to the front of the class, even though I knew that stress always made my Tourette's worse. Standing in front of 20 other kids was about to prove that. She pointed at me. Go ahead and start your
Bro,
little...
I never stood up in front of the class. I always just get embarrassed. Like if it's a lot of people, then hell no.
performance.
Bro.
My shoulder jerked hard, and a sharp bark cracked out of my throat. A few kids laughed, then my neck twisted sideways, again and again, faster each time.
Bro.
You're doing that on purpose, aren't you? My chest tightened, because people accusing me of faking it always hurt worse than the tics themselves. No, I'm not, she laughed. Yeah, right. Tourette's isn't even a real thing. My face burned with embarrassment as the tics kept coming, one after another, my body completely out of my control,
Bro,
while
what
she
is
stood
this
there
shit?
smirking. Then
What
this
did I get myself into, bro?
kid in the back stood up and barked loudly on purpose. Is Tourette's contagious? Another kid jumped up and started jerking his arms around. I've got it too. Within seconds, half the class was on their feet, yelling, twitching. The substitute threw up her hands. Sit down, all of you. But nobody listened. That's when the principal walked in.
The principal just appeared.
I've got it too. Within seconds, half the class was on
Like he was invisible, but then what? Yo,
their feet,
replay
yelling,
that.
twitching. The substitute threw up her hands. Sit down, all of you. But nobody listened. That's when the
He just
principal
teleported into the class.
walked in. What is going on in here? The substitute tried to explain, but the kid in the
Wait. Let me see the comments.
back shouted over her. She made him do his tics in front of everyone and said Tourette's isn't even real. The principal glared at the substitute. Get your things. You're done here. He had security remove
He's
her from the
firing
school,
her?
and she was
Damn.
never allowed to come back. My arm
Damn,
jerked and
bro,
a bark.
that's crazy. Should I really just get an ad, bro?
Our front door burst open downstairs, and I froze in my gaming chair. I had
Did someone just break into the house? Cause I swear, if someone broke into my house, I'm knocking him out.
muscular dystrophy and couldn't stand up on my own, which meant if the intruder found me here, I was
Is he
toast.
paralyzed?
I heard footsteps on the stairs, and my life flashed before my eyes. But my walking cane was at my desk, and I suddenly got the most unhinged idea of all time. I used the little strength I had to put on my gaming headphones just as the door handle rattled, then faced the door and widened my eyes right when it opened. The man burst in, raising his crowbar. "Where's all the money?" But I just stared at him blankly, my heart pounding as I pretended to be blind and not see him, hoping he wouldn't hurt a blind person. He walked closer, the tip of his
Bro, he's just like, oh, where is he? Where's the money? Where's the money? Like, bro.
crowbar an inch from my
L acting.
face now. "Don't play dumb with me. Where's the money?" I swallowed dryly, but kept my face steady, knowing a single flinch would cook me. That's when I reached out towards my desk. My arms gave out halfway because they were so weak, but I'd gotten far enough to weakly slap my desk and pretend to search for something. He waved his hand in my face, and I knocked my $200 mouse off to really convince him I couldn't see. My fingers clamped
$200? That's crazy.
around my walking cane, and I saw the
It should be
intruder
like $50 or
grip his
something.
head. He slowly lowered his crowbar. "I can't rob a blind person." His voice cracked, and he turned his back to me. I took a deep breath,
This is the first time that I've seen a wholesome robber. Like,
and that's when I put all my power into lifting the cane. My tiny biceps shook as I hadn't lifted anything over 1 pound in
Oh.
months, but I jabbed it into the back of his neck, knowing that was the weakest
I mean, I wouldn't like knock him out. Like, I don't know.
part. He dropped to the floor with the crowbar still in his hand, not moving. Pretending to be blind worked. Our front door burst open. A
That's
little
so
girl
funny.
tugged my sleeve in the mall parking lot, tears streaming down her face. "Have you seen my mommy?"
What?
I crouched down to her level, keys still in my hand. Hey, it's okay. What'd she look like? She sniffled and waved vaguely at the entire parking lot. She has brown hair. I figured helping her out was the right thing to do, but I was wrong. I held her hand and walked her up and down 2 rows of cars, pointing at every woman I saw, but she just kept shaking her head. Nope, not my mommy. She squeezed my hand tighter. Can we check by the blue
POV 5-year-olds.
car? Mommy likes blue cars. We stopped right next to mine. Oh, this isn't your mom's car. It's mine. She looked at it for a second too long. Can you open it? Maybe she's hiding inside as a game. I told her that didn't make any sense, but she started
Hide? Like, you're abandoning your daughter? Bro.
crying so hard I caved and hit the unlock button anyway.
What? Does she have a seizure, bro?
She peeked into the back seat, then straightened up and smiled at me. You're a really good helper. Before I could ask what she meant, she kicked me square in the balls with everything
What? She's savage, bro.
her tiny leg had. I dropped to the pavement, and by the time my eyes uncrossed, she had already grabbed my
Bro is doing this. Like, bro.
keys and jumped behind the wheel,
Bro.
adjusting my seat all the way up. She rolled the window
Yo.
down halfway. Tell your insurance company I said hi. Then she peeled out of the mall parking lot, going
How does she know how to drive? Like, she's like 2 years old.
a solid 25 miles an hour. A little girl tugged my...
Okay.
I was crossing the road when the school quarterback slammed into me with his Ferrari. I went down screaming, "Ah!" and clutched my leg in pain. He stepped out of his sports car and laughed. Oops, didn't see you there. A week later, he
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna kill him.
grabbed my wheelchair handles and was pushing me past the girls. Then he leaned into my ear and whispered, "Thanks for getting hurt, NPC. I've never been this popular." My face went hot, and I
Whoa, what? Wait.
gripped the armrests in anger. "You're gonna regret this." But he laughed and kept pushing. Never. So every night I sat in my wheelchair and curled my brother's dump.
I'm sorry, but that's probably the worst workout like I've ever seen, bro. And why is my fridge open? Like, what? Who opened my fridge?
Bells until my
continue.
arms shook. Finally, after several days of training, I could hold my whole body off the seat. I smirked and said to myself, "It's time." The next morning at school, he grabbed my wheelchair again, so I waited until he hit a full sprint, and right as he was smiling at a girl, I clamped my hands down hard on both wheels. The chair stopped dead, and he folded over the top and went head first into the tile. That's when I rolled my wheel straight over his leg, and he grabbed it screaming while the girls watched
Holy karma.
with open mouths. I looked down at him and laughed as loud as I could. Oops, didn't see you there. I was on my phone trying to finish a school assignment when Dad yanked it out of my hands. "No more phones in this house. They're bad for you." I instantly grabbed at his arm. "But Dad, I need it for schoolwork. And what if there's an emergency?" But he pushed me off and literally threw my phone in the bin. "You kids think everything is an emergency." He carried the bin bag outside, and I watched in shock as all my means of communication got tossed in the dumpster. But the next day, while walking home, a kid
Bro, if someone did that to me, I'm gonna throw him in the ocean.
drove into me with his bike and knocked me into a ditch. My ankle popped, and I instinctively reached for my
Bro. He just fell in the dookie water.
phone to call for help, but my heart sank as I remembered it wasn't there. I lay in the mud for over an hour, waiting for the pain to die down so I could get up. I finally limped home, soaking and in pain. 2 hours later, "Please, I need a phone." I showed Dad my swollen ankle, but he
Oh
didn't
my
even look up from his
goodness.
plate. "You're not getting a phone," I tried to argue, but he slammed his fist down. "No, if I ever catch you with one, I'll smash it in the driveway and ground you for the whole year." I gulped and limped
I'd rather get adopted, bro. Like,
upstairs,
seriously.
wanting to cry.
If that was my dad, I would want to get adopted by someone else.
But the next morning, my English teacher saw me limping. She pressed her old phone into my hands after I explained everything and said, "It's not much, but every kid needs a way to call for help." My whole
See?
face lit up, and I
Even the
immediately
teacher,
slipped
like,
it in my bag.
is on
I
his
came
side.
home, crept past Dad, and every night after the house went dark, texted my friends under the covers. But then one night, the front door opened downstairs while I was
He's cooked.
texting. I heard heavy footsteps. Then a stranger's voice told my dad to get up. My blood ran cold, and when I quietly stepped into the hallway, a man stood in their doorway with his back to me, holding Dad at gunpoint. "Watch a necklace now."
Call the cops!
I locked eyes with Dad
Call the
over the
cops.
man's shoulder and slid out my phone with shaking hands. Dad's eyes widened in anger seeing my phone, but I just texted 911 and crept back in my room. I got under the covers,
Bro's
praying
still angry even though he's getting killed by a robber. Like,
he
bro.
didn't hear me when I heard the man's voice. What was that? He turned toward my room and my legs went
Old
numb,
phone,
but
but
suddenly the front
that's
door
the
burst
same
open
thing.
downstairs. Police!
Look at this comment, bro. Old phone, but that's the 17. Like, bro, what?
They rushed in and tackled him to the ground. I got out of bed as they walked him out, shaking because my phone letting me call for help was the only reason Dad was alive. But when I looked up, he was staring at the phone in my hands with this murderous rage. He stormed over, his fists clenched, and I braced myself for him to scream. But then he hugged me. I was wrong for not letting you have a phone. Thank you for not listening to me while I was being an idiot. I was on my phone trying.
I don't know how to feel about this. Are you serious?
The smoke alarm blared through the jail in the middle of the night, and I could already see the flames flickering down the hall. A guard ran past, throwing.
He's turning into chicken wings. Because if your holy stutter, if your place is on fire and you're stuck, I'm sorry, but you're turning into juicy chicken wings, and I'm gonna eat you for dinner. And yeah, that's not true at all. Like, I just made that whole thing up.
Open every cell.
Let me stop
Everybody
yapping.
out now! All of the prisoners scrambled into the
Run
hallway,
for
panicking
your
and pushing toward the exit
life.
doors, and nobody even glanced at the security room as they
The
ran
wall, the door won't budge. Wouldn't
past
budge.
it. That's when I saw Officer Carlson through the window in its door. Help! The door is stuck. My chest tightened because he was the only guard who'd ever treated me with respect, and if I didn't help him, he wouldn't make it out alive. I ran toward the security
Damn.
room instead of the exit. Carlson, hang on! I started yanking on the door. It's jammed. I can't get it open. He
No.
started coughing hard, and panic clawed up my throat because I knew we were
Kick
running
it,
out of
kick
time.
it.
I pulled out the sharpened toothbrush handle I kept for self-defense and held it
A
up.
toothbrush? What's that gonna do? Kick it open.
Push from your
the
side when
door
I say
open,
go.
bro.
I jammed the handle into the gap where the metal had bent from the heat and pulled
Alright,
with
bro.
everything I had. Go! Carlson slammed his shoulder into the door and it didn't
Good.
budge. For a second,
Oh,
I
wait.
thought we'd run out of time as the smoke poured thicker down the hall, stinging my eyes and burning my throat. Try again! He slammed into the door again and it
Come on.
finally cracked open
Yes.
wide enough for him to squeeze through. He grabbed my shoulders, still shaking. You didn't have to do that. I looked at him through burning eyes, trying not to cry. You're the only one.
Didn't he just say help and then he said you didn't have to do that. Bro, you just said help like 5 seconds ago.
In here who has ever treated me like a person. I couldn't leave you behind. Firefighters ran in a minute later and pulled us both outside into the cold night air. The next day,
Oh my
Carlson
gosh.
stood in front of the parole board. This man saved my life while everyone else ran straight past him. The board approved my early release that same afternoon, and Carlson was the one who drove me to the bus station. The smoke alarm blared through.
That is the most childish cop I think I've ever seen. Like, what is this goofy ass wave? Like, bro.
I was showering in my 2-foot wide
Whoa.
bathroom when I heard my landlord say, "And through here is the bathroom." I froze under the running water because that voice was right outside my door.
Oh,
My
no.
stupid landlord was showing my place to renters without telling me. I panicked and my elbows smacked both walls, but the wall was so thin it flexed where I hit it. The doorknob started
Damn.
rattling and the landlord told them, "The rent here is super affordable." He was clearly lying, but I knew if that door opened, all those strangers would get flashed by my exquisite body. So I threw my shoulder against the door to hold it shut, but there was no room to brace and shampoo was burning my eyes. I grabbed for my towel, but my arm couldn't bend in that tiny bathroom, so I knocked it straight into the toilet. This place sucks. I wondered what kind of landlord gives tours while his tenant showers, but then the whole door thudded like he'd put his shoulder into it. He told the renters, "Don't worry, it'll open up. It just sticks sometimes." My legs started shaking, so I dove for the tiny window, but I got wedged halfway with my legs kicking behind me as the door started to open. I kicked off the toilet to rip myself free, and instead
That's
my whole
funny,
body
bro.
went through that flexing
Holy
and took it with me. I
moly.
crashed into
Is bro 500 pounds or is the house just so bad?
the living room wrapped in the shower curtain and landed at the landlord's feet. I laid there in dead silence while 6 strangers stared at me, their eyes bouncing between me and the hole in the wall. I pulled the curtain tighter over my exquisite body. "Hey there, nice to meet you." The landlord cleared his throat. "Anyway, the rent
Bro.
here is $5,000. Super affordable, like I told you." I was showering in my 2-foot wide
Five-
bathroom when I...
That grand? 5 grand? 5 doubloons. That's like buying a whole mansion. Oh wait, no, mansions are like $2 million. Whatever.
Heard my landlord say, and through here is the bathroom. I froze under the running water because that voice was right. I was 3 hours into streaming Fortnite to 0 viewers when a notification popped up. Shadow Watcher donated $1,000. My heart skipped a
Yo, that's cool.
beat because it was the first donation I had ever gotten. Whoa, thank you, Shadow Watcher. Then I read the message out loud. Look out your window. I laughed and looked toward the window. Nice try, buddy, but there's nothing out here. I kept playing because I had no idea how bad this was about to get. Another message from Shadow Watcher popped up. Nice room. I love your Death Note poster. I froze because that poster wasn't in view of the camera. How do you know I have a Death Note poster? I lost the match because a bot crept up behind me while I was distracted and
How do you die by a bot? Like, how bad do you have to be? Like,
got the kill. Then another message came through. Don't worry about it. Is that your blue car in the driveway? My hands went cold, and I couldn't even bring myself to hit play again.
also, why is the keyboard red? Like, that looks
Okay,
weird.
this isn't funny. Who is this? That's when I heard 3 knocks on my window. Slow and deliberate. I clenched my jaw so tight my teeth squeaked as I slowly turned toward the sound. I forced myself to look out the window and saw my best friend Bobby standing outside laughing,
Who's Bobby?
still holding his phone. My flabbers were gasted. I threw the window open to let him in. You've been out there this whole time? He dangled halfway through the window, one leg still hanging
Bro's
outside.
literally
You
a
should have seen
knockoff of Steak.
your
You guys
face when
know
I said
Steak, like the streamer?
poster thing. I grabbed him by the
Flabbers
collar
were
and hauled him
gassed.
the rest of the way in.
Bro, look
Still
at these
laughing,
comments,
he held
bro.
up his phone. I made a second account
These
just to
comments
mess
are
with
funny
you. I
right
sat
here.
back down, half furious, half impressed, forgetting the stream was still running behind me. I'm keeping the $1,000. I was 3 hours into streaming Fortnite to 0 viewers when I gave my girlfriend Paige her birthday present, hoping it would close the distance that had
Who? What girl is named Paige? Like, that sounds like a boy name.
grown between us for months, but instead, she opened it, burst into tears, and ran out the door. My heart sank. Paige, wait! I ran after her.
Are these happy tears or scared tears or mad tears or I don't know?
But she was already peeling out of the driveway. I didn't understand why she was upset because she'd spent months telling me about an oil painting class she went to every Wednesday. So I'd spent $300 on a professional easel and paints, hoping it would show her I paid attention. She wouldn't answer my calls, so after 3 hours, I checked her location and found her at her parents' house. I got in my car,
Parents?
done guessing what I'd done wrong. When I got there, her dad stepped onto the porch and pulled the door shut behind him. Now's not a good time. Paige is upset. I crossed my arms. I deserve to know why my girlfriend just ran out crying on her own birthday. Her mom appeared next to him, pity on her face. Let him inside. There's something he needs to hear. She led me to a bedroom door and pounded on it. Paige, come out and tell him the truth, or I will. Paige stepped out. Mascara streaked down her face in dark lines. I grabbed her shoulders. What's going on, babe? You can tell me anything. She wiped her face. There was never any painting class. My stomach flipped. Then where have you been going every Wednesday? She looked at her mom, begging to be saved, but her mom shook her head. Tell him. Paige took a deep breath. I've been seeing a man from work. He's married with 2 kids, but he said he'd leave his wife for me. The room started spinning as I realized that every Wednesday I'd kissed her goodbye, thinking she was going to a painting class. She was actually driving to some hotel to cheat on me. I spent $300 on something you made up so you could destroy another family. She looked offended. I was going to
That's
tell
crazy.
you eventually, before or after he left his wife. She had to think about it. Her mom put her hand on my shoulder. You deserve better than this. I nodded, walked to my car, and blocked her number before I even left the driveway. I gave my girlfriend Paige her birthday present, hoping it would close the distance that had grown between us for months. But instead, she opened it, burst into tears, and
You see this man right here? Like this ad? This man? Okay,
I found my
let me
son
chill.
sobbing over
Okay.
a plate of food
What?
while I found my son sobbing over a plate of food while my wife knelt beside him and whispered, "Take one more bite, baby." My son sobbed, "I don't want to eat anymore, mommy." My son dropped the fork.
I almost
Everything's
ruined my son's life.
fine, Dad. But when I looked closer at him, I realized he'd gained a lot of weight that I hadn't noticed because of my cancer diagnosis, the one I hadn't told them about yet. Why was my wife forcing our son to be overweight? My wife smiled nervously. Anyway, I was thinking we should get eggs for breakfast tomorrow. I moved past her and pulled open the pantry. There were large containers of mass gainers sitting side by side, and a chart was taped inside the door written in my son's handwriting. I grabbed it and saw he was recording his weight gain week after week. My hands were shaking, and I turned around. around. Somebody tell me what's going on, right now. My wife opened her mouth to try and change the conversation topic again, but my son slammed his hands down. No, Mom, let's just tell him the truth. He turned to me with tears streaming down his face. Dad, I know
Bro,
you
why are the tears like black or red? They look red
have
and
cancer.
kind of.
I felt the wall I'd been holding up for months just collapse. He looked down at the ground. I heard you on the phone with the doctor. You need a bone marrow transplant. And I looked it up, and it said donors have to weigh at least 110 pounds. And I was only 80 pounds when I found out. He pushed the plate away. So I've been eating every single day, even when it hurts. I sank into the chair beside him. I'd been hiding my cancer from my family because I didn't want it to hurt them. And they were hiding the solution because they didn't want to hurt me either. Tears filled my eyes because there was one more secret I had to tell them. Well, I guess this is a good time to tell you guys. I'm in remission. The chemotherapy was a success, so there's no need for transplants. I watched my son's face go from braced to excited, and it was the most beautiful
Are you
thing
serious
I'd
right
ever
now?
seen.
Low
My
battery.
wife pressed both hands over her mouth. My son wrapped his arms around my neck. I knew we could do it, Dad. I found my son sobbing over a plate. I was playing drums in a music class when the conductor raised his fist and yelled, "Cut!"
Hold on. Let me make it better. Hold.
His bald head turned
Okay, let me just.
toward me, and he walked over with a frown before pushing me off my chair. He dragged my drum kit screeching to the center of the
Why?
room
Why did you stop it? Why did you ruin it? It was good.
and asked, "Were you rushing or were you dragging?" I opened my mouth and nothing came out, so he straightened up and announced to everyone, "Nobody leaves this room until the freshman finds his tempo." My hands went cold on my sticks because I'd practiced 2 years just to make his band, and one nod from him decided everything. I sat back down, grabbed my sticks, and hammered out 4 bars, but his fist shot up and cut me dead. Rushing, again. I wiped my palms on my jeans and started over, but his fist snapped up on my second hit. Dragging, again. I mouthed the counts to myself and tried again, so he stormed over and screamed his own counts into my ear until spit hit my cheek. A trombone player groaned. Not again. This happens every year. So he whipped
Bro,
around,
why-
ripped the trombone out of her hands, and laid it across my snare. Every note she doesn't play is on you, freshman. My hands were shaking so hard my sticks rattled against the rims. But on the next count, I stopped searching his face, put my head down, and just played. He slammed his hand flat on my crash cymbal and put his face an inch
Bro.
from mine. Were you rushing or were you dragging? My face heated up in an instant. I stood up, lifted my floor tom, and slammed it down over his bald head. His head punched straight through with one loud bang,
Oh my
and he
God.
froze with the drum hanging around his neck like a collar. I sat back down, tapped a stick
collar
against my
is
chin,
insane.
and leaned toward him. Were you rushing or were you dragging? He called the cops and kicked me off the band, but it was worth it. I was playing drums in a music class when the conductor raised his fist and yelled, "Cut!" His bald head turned toward me, and he walked over with a frown before pushing me off my chair. He dragged my drum kit screeching to the center of the room and asked, "Were you rushing or were you dragging?" My daughter fell into the
What is this? It starts with an A. Good job. And then D. Woo.
My daughter fell into the Mississippi River, but before I could even jump in to save her, a huge Newfoundland was already dragging her out. I immediately sprinted over as he hauled her onto the bank by her coat, and my hands were shaking as I held her, because that current was strong enough to pull grown men under, and my daughter was only 6.
Oh
You
my-
saved my daughter's life. You're coming with us, boy. The second we got home, I threw him the biggest steak
Boy?
in my fridge, and he grabbed it in his teeth and bolted out the door. And
Bro, this dog is literally gonna become a killer dog.
I figured we'd never see him
A
again.
German
But the
Shepherd.
next day, we were on a walk when I spotted another kid drowning in the Mississippi, in the exact same spot my daughter was.
Bark! Save this kid. Hey!
I was in the wheelchair. My daughter fell into the Mississippi River, but drowning in the Mississippi River, and it was the 7th day in a row that the dog dragged the. I threw him the biggest steak in my fridge, and he grabbed it in his. But the next day, we were on a walk when I spotted another kid drowning in the Mississippi, in the exact same spot.
By the way, why is this like, is it an ocean or a lake? I don't know. But like, why is it called Mississippi? Like, that's just the weirdest name to call an ocean. Like, bro.
I was in the wheelchair.
Are you
My daughter
serious?
fell into the Mississippi. Another kid drowning in the Mississippi, in the exact same spot my daughter was yesterday. As soon as a crowd formed, the same dog sprinted in out of nowhere and saved the day. I raised an eyebrow and turned to my wife. Isn't it a little strange that this happened 2 days in a row? She put her hands on her hips. How dare you question a hero? But a week later, the 7th kid was drowning in the Mississippi River, and it was the 7th day in a row that the dog dragged the kid out and enjoyed his steak afterwards. I furrowed my eyebrows because no one had drowned in that river for 10 years, and now it was happening every single day. So one morning, I hid behind the boathouse and spied on him, and for 4 hours, he just slept in the sun, until I saw my wife come down the path with our daughter. The second she stopped to greet a neighbor, our daughter started chasing a pigeon, heading straight toward the bank. The dog instantly started running towards my...
No. Are you okay?
I was in the wheel bank. The dog instantly started running towards my daughter and knocked her into the water. I instantly shot up, and as soon as the dog saw me, he ran into the water, grabbed my daughter by the collar, and dragged her to the side where she coughed up water. I gasped, and the dog wagged his tail with his mouth wide open, already waiting for his steak. The color drained from my face because I couldn't believe it. He was never saving anyone. He was pushing kids in the water, and then saving them because he knew someone would hand him a steak afterwards. And I handed him the very first one. That night, there was a scratch at my door, and the dog was sitting on my step, still waiting for his reward. My daughter fell into the Mississippi River.
Reward is crazy.
I was in the wheelchair-accessible area of the concert, enjoying the show, when a man without a wheelchair stopped in front of me. His back was turned to me, so I tapped his shoulder. "Can you move, please? I can't see over you." But he bent down and laughed in my face. "Nope, I can't see over anyone in the general section, but nobody here blocks my view." "But you're blocking my view," I replied, and he instantly flipped his VIP lanyard up. "Okay, then do something about it. This event organizer is my dad." He laughed and turned back, standing even closer to me so I couldn't see a thing except his Gucci suit. My hands tightened because I'd saved 6 months for these tickets, having waited 5 years for this band to come to my city. They announced they'd be playing my favorite song next, and my chest went cold. "Can you move for just this song? Just this one? I've been dreaming to see it live." But he wouldn't even turn back this time. "No, this one's my favorite." I tried to wheel around him to see the song, but the row was too packed to move, and that's when my wheel bumped his hip. He instantly spun around, suddenly red in the face. "Touch me one more time and my dad will sue you so hard you'll have to sell that little transportation device just to pay him back." My chest...
Transportation device is crazy. Do you not know what a wheelchair is? Like...
was burning as he kicked my wheelchair hard enough to rattle it and turned back around. I waved over the security guard. He stormed over. "What's going on?" But the man just held his lanyard up. "The event organizer's my dad. Get him if you want to talk to me." The security guard looked at me.
Chester? Who is Chester? Okay.
Then simply walked away, and my heart shattered while everyone around me screamed the words to my favorite song. I was now nearly in tears, still staring at the man's back, when suddenly a man in a suit walked over. "What's going on, son?" My eyes widened, realizing this was the dad. The man pointed down at me. "Tell him to stop complaining. I'm trying to watch the show." I opened my mouth to explain, but the dad interrupted. "Son, would you mind pressing that button on your wheelchair?" I stared up at him, confused, but he nodded. "Press it." So I did. My chair drove straight into his son's hip, and he screamed and fell. "Dad, why did you tell him to do that?" His dad stood over him. "Since you want to watch the show from down here, you should meet the qualifications." He pressed the button on my chair for me again, driving me into his son's foot again while he screamed in pain. The next song started, and I watched the band over the top of him.
Bro, this is brutal.
Now he was the one who couldn't see over me. I was in the wheelchair.
"Dad, Mom, this is my boyfriend."
That was...
Did I really just get an AI? Why is her neck like she has like a neck of an owl, bro? She's like that.
As soon as my dad's lawyer said his will left everything to me, I heard my brother George's hands slam against the table. That's insane. He only did that because Ryan made him feel bad by faking being blind.
Like, does the owner of the channel like is he alone? Like, does he create these animations alone, or does he have like a team? Cause Zack T Films definitely has a team, but I don't know if he does.
My throat closed up because
Maybe
I
he has. Like
lost my eyesight 8 years ago in a car accident. You know that's not true. I heard his chair scrape back and the door
People say
open. I'm going to prove you aren't blind in court, and I'm taking every penny when I do. I turned towards him. George, wait! But the door slammed behind him. A week later, I found myself sitting in a courtroom while George's lawyer stood at the front and presented their case to the judge. Your Honor, we have proof the defendant isn't blind at all. I was walking home from basketball practice when a car slammed into my body, and I felt a
Whoa.
sickening crunch shoot down my legs. I screamed because my legs bent the wrong way, and the woman who hit me jumped out, panicking. This is so bad, I have to do something. Then, instead of calling an ambulance, she grabbed me under the arms and dragged me across the pavement, my ruined legs aching with pain. Wait, don't touch me. I need proper help.
Don't touch me. I am gonna touch you. How do I touch. Okay, whatever.
But she shoved me into her back seat. Just stay quiet. I'll take you myself. Something was wrong.
Subscribe or I'm gonna touch you. Okay.
And as she sped off, I prayed she hadn't just cost me my legs forever. But moments later, she flew past the giant blue hospital sign without slowing down, and my heart stopped. The hospital was right there. Turn around. But she gripped the wheel tighter. I can't take you
What is she doing?
there. My insurance can't handle another accident. I'll lose everything. I gasped. She wasn't helping me. She was saving herself.
Drink
Please,
water,
I can't
guys.
feel my legs anymore.
It's
But she
good
put
for
her
you.
hand up. I'll buy you a new basketball, okay? Just shut up. I clenched my fists, staring down at my gray legs as the numbness crawled past my knees and felt
Oh.
10 years of basketball
That
dreams
looks like
slip
it
away.
hurts.
But then I spotted a cop car 2 lanes over, and I knew I had to do something. So I lunged forward
Scream!
and yanked the wheel with everything I had. Get
Scream!
off! She shrieked, clawing at my
Scream for
arms. But I
help!
held on as the car screeched sideways and blue lights flashed on behind
Yes,
us. Relief
good.
flooded me until she shoved my head below the window, forced a smile, and rolled hers down. Sorry, officer. My brother's having a medical episode. I'm rushing him to the hospital. I saw the officer
No.
nod, telling her to have a good night, and my heart sank. So I threw myself
Scream!
up at the
What are
window
you
and
doing?
screamed.
Scream for help! Are you dumb?
She hit me with her car and kidnapped
Yes!
me. Look at my legs. The officer paused, and his face went cold when he saw my
Yes!
legs, gray and soaked in blood. Hold on, ma'am. You said you're taking him to the hospital, but the hospital is back that way? She panicked, her lie slipping. But the officer
Yes!
was already yanking her out of the car and slapping cuffs
Yeah.
on her wrists.
No, she doesn't want to go see. She needs to be executed. Killed.
I don't care. I can't afford a higher insurance bill. She
Killed.
screamed as they pinned her to the hood as the ambulance
This is
loaded me
attempted
on, and I
murder.
begged the paramedics to save my legs. But at the hospital, the doctor had to amputate my legs. But the lawsuit
Okay, now just looks like a vegetable now.
I won from the accident bought me a pair of robotic ones. I'll never make it
Holy skinny robotic arms. They look like dog bones.
to the NBA. But now I dunk on the legs she paid for. I was walking home from basketball practice. I was walking
Can I
home.
get my dog?
I-
Wait, I'm gonna go get my dog. My doggy boy. Guys, say hi to my beautiful dog. Oh my goodness, look at this sleepy man. Aww. Look at him. Okay,
My
let's
girlfriend down
watch.
the water slide, and she screamed, "Wee! I'm so happy you took me to this vacation
Bro,
resort."
what is this?
I smiled
What am I
because I was
watching
glad we were on vacation to work on our relationship together. But just as she reached the bottom, a dozen men with rifles were pouring out of the palm trees, and red laser dots were all over our bodies. I instantly ran to the bottom of the slide and grabbed her into the cave so we could survive the ambush, and I had no idea if we were going to survive. Flashlights swept past
Doc,
the
come here.
entrance, so I clamped my hand over her sobs, but nobody was shooting, which made me more scared because it meant they wanted us alive for something very, very bad. She peeled my hand off her mouth. This might be the last time we're alive enough to see each other. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry for the fights I started, the cheating, the money I took. I didn't want us to die angry at each other. So I pressed my forehead to hers and nodded. You made a lot of mistakes, but we love each other, and that's all that matters. But before she could respond, the men surrounded us with rifles. We found you. I held her tighter, but she stood up with her arms out. For a second, I thought she was going to take a bullet for me. But that's when every gunman lowered their rifles and screamed, "Congratulations!" A confetti cannon popped off over their heads. My heart was still pounding with adrenaline, and I was extremely confused. But my girlfriend looked up at me like she was the smartest girl in the world. I planned out this whole thing, baby. The guns, the chase, everything. Because Because I needed you to see that when we thought it was the end, we chose each other. We can never give up on us. I saved our relationship. I instantly vomited from shock. My girlfriend hired a dozen armed men to hunt me across an island so I'd stop wanting to leave her. I stood up and stepped
Dang.
past her open arms. You cheated on me multiple times. You stole money from me. And you just made me think I was about to be killed. We're done. The gunmen went silent, and they walked me to their boat. And watching the island shrink behind us was the calmest I'd felt in a year. I pushed my girlfriend down the water slide and she
Wait a minute.
screamed, "Wee! I'm so
I think
happy
I'm
you took
gonna
me to
look
this
at
vacation."
his most
I pushed my-
popular videos. Well, not his most, but like a pretty popular one. Let me see. I'm gonna find one. What's this?
My neighbor kept destroying our snowmen, so I made
Okay. Ooh, what is this?
every time we heard a knock on the front. When I saw Kimberly,
No.
Dad measured me for the 5th time that day and screamed.
No.
After 8 years on death row, I was ready to die. A man climbed onto our school bus with
Okay. No.
my teacher looked at my...
Huh?
I handed my son a ball of garbage on his 9th birthday. I couldn't afford a football, but I spent all night making this for you. He started dribbling it around our poor African village.
Bro, let me try to find a good video, bro. Like, bro.
I looked the officer dead in the eye and lied. My name is Jason King. Jason had gone missing 3 years ago, and it was the first...
Okay. Well, I'm gonna cut the video until I find a good video. So,
Steps on a cat's tail.
guys, I
was
just
outside
found a
looking for
video.
my cat when I saw my neighbor stepping on her tail and laughing.
If anybody did that to my dog, I swear I'm gonna kill him. No, not knocking him out. Not taking his teeth out. Killing him. 'Cause nobody messes with my dog. And when I say don't mess, okay.
This kid accidentally... I was outside looking for my cat when I saw my neighbor stepping on her tail and laughing. My cat was screaming. I
Okay, this guy just devil, literally demon mode.
ran over and shoved him off. What is wrong with you? Why
Yes, shove him.
were you stepping
Man,
on her
run him over with a car, bro.
tail? He got close to my face because I wanted to. What are you gonna do about it? I
Okay. Yeah, just get the gun and shoot him, bro.
wanted to punch him because my cat Fluff is my best friend. She's friendly with everyone.
Bro, my dog's sister is her name is Fluffy. Okay, yeah. I think this guy is just watching. Hey, can you whoever made this channel, can you see me? Can you see me? What am I doing right now? What am I doing? What am I doing right now? Okay. Yeah, 6-7 is dead. Bro.
This kid accidentally... I was outside
Bruh.
looking for my... because I thought it wouldn't happen again. Then the next day, I brought Fluff in my room and closed my door to trap her. I wasn't taking any chances, but when I went to the bathroom, Fluff slipped out the front door and went outside. I didn't even notice until I heard her screech from outside. My balls hit the floor. I ran out,
Your what hit the floor?
and the neighbor was on my yard, standing on Fluff's tail even
Your what hit the floor?
harder than before. He pressed harder, smiling at her pain. She was crying. I shoved him off and picked her up. Her tail was limp and bent sideways. He looked at
Damn.
me smiling. Next time I'll step harder. I was shaking with anger. I saw his wife watching from her balcony and screamed, "Your husband came into my yard and stepped on my cat's tail again." She rolled her eyes. "It's just a tail. Relax," and looked away. I took Fluff to the
What am I
vet
doing,
because her
bro?
tail wasn't moving anymore. The vet looked at me
Oh my
and said
gosh,
the tail was
not
too
moving,
damaged. They
then-
cut off her tail. I was comforted
No,
by
they
my cat and knew
amputated-
exactly
they
what I needed to
amputated
do
it.
to make sure he
No.
never did this again. The next morning, I laced up my black Timberlands and
Ooh,
went outside, waiting for him
Timberlands.
to come out. Then I saw
These
him
things are
walk onto my
powerful.
yard, look around, and go behind the bushes looking for my cat. He saw me and smirked. "Where's your dumb cat? I want to stomp on it again."
Whoa. Don't call my dog or cat dumb. Because if you do, I will slap your bald head off.
I walked up to him. He didn't even see it coming. I lifted my Timberlands so high and
Yes!
stomped
Good.
on his foot as hard as I could. He started screaming. Punch. 2 teeth flew out.
Yes! Now we're talking.
Out his mouth after my fist connected with his jaw. I kept my foot pressed on his, so
Now we're talking.
he wouldn't fall. What are you gonna do about this? His wife heard him scream and came
Now
running
we're
out. What
talking.
happened? What did you
Now
do to my
we're
husband? I looked at her and
talking.
smiled.
Now
It's
we're
just a couple
talking.
teeth. Relax. I took something from him the same way he did to my cat.
Yep.
I was outside looking for my cat.
Alright, well I guess this is gonna be the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed.